Dr. William S. Sandler. He was a highly respected mainstream psychiatrist and surgeon, author, and he had some medical texts as well published. Sadler's brother-in-law was having sleep disturbances during observed trance states. A profound, complex personality began speaking through him, claiming to be celestial being. These beings, and later a group of them, proposes an experiment. They request a group of intelligent, sincere humans, a forum, about 30 to 40 men and women, professionals, being assembled, and they are instructed to ask questions about God, the cosmos, history, destiny, and the answers would come through the same sleeping subject, which identity is anonymous.
The anonymous brother-in-law.
In a deep, unconscious trance and be transcribed. Dr. Sandler has been called upon this whole thing, and he went to it to debunk it because he was a skeptic, he was a scientist. He only believes in the physical, material world, and he didn't believe in any spiritual mumbo-jumbo. So for 3 decades, this process continues. Questions are submitted, answers are received, read to the forum, debated, and sometimes re-asked for clarification. In 1955, after all transmissions ceased, the Urantia book was published by the Urantia Foundation. It's 2,097 pages of dense, single-space text divided into 196 papers. It bears no human author. The copyright is held by Urantia Foundation with the stated hope that its teaching would eventually become public domain for all humanity. Is this a legitimate, unprecedented example of prolonged collaborative contact with the non-human intelligence? All right, people, we're back with the largest book written in the human history.
It's
Beside
incredible.
beside the Bible.
Yes.
How many pages is Bible?
I have no idea. Which version do you mean?
The
I mean-
longest version, I guess.
That's a very abstract question. I'm sorry. Because
No, it's not. I can just
yes, it
Google
is. Because there are lots of different versions of the Bible. And the early ones were much more inclusive than the current ones.
1,200 or 1,500 is like between 1,200.
Yeah,
and two.
okay. That's a lot.
So this is largest.
This one's bigger.
Yeah,
Yes.
this one is bigger. Today we're going to talk about Urantia book, which is fascinating, man.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go through the whole book, 4 sections as it is, and we cannot cover 2,000 pages here, but we're going to like summarize some parts of it from each sections, and we're going to like have our conclusions at the end and kind of fact check it and see the evidence and sources for both sides. The side that is for it and the side that is against it and tries to debunk it.
As with all things, there's
Yes.
some truth,
Yeah.
but not all the truth, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It has, you can gain perspective.
Yes.
Because the whole purpose of this book is to decode and like explain the reality that we're experiencing.
Yeah.
And
For the time, too.
for the time being, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you some background of when this book has been published and by who and everything, like a background of it. The key figure of it is Dr. William S. Sandler. He was a highly respected mainstream psychiatrist and surgeon, author, and he had some medical texts as well published. He was a skeptic. That's the interesting part of it. he himself was a skeptic, and he figured out like his brother-in-law started to have some type of sleep disturbance, and he was called for to like help his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law started to like talking in his sleep and like kind of channeling an entity. So the Dr. William, I don't know how should I call it, Dr. Sandler, so it goes easier.
That sounds shorter.
Yeah, Dr. Sandler has been called upon this whole thing, and he went to it to debunk it because he was a skeptic, he was a scientist. He only believes in like a physical material world, and he didn't believe in like, any spiritual mumbo jumbo. So that's a starting point.
Yep.
Sadler's brother-in-law was having sleep disturbances during observed trance states. A profound, complex personality began speaking through him, claiming to be celestial being. These being and later a group of them requested a forum of intelligent humans to ask questions. So these celestial beings, a group of them, were channeling through Sadler's brother-in-law, and they ask people, smart, intelligent people, to start asking questions, which I don't know how smart those group of people were.
Yeah, no, exactly.
What we can read here is those questions, answer to those questions, and you have to imagine it. Okay, if I, with my knowledge around that time, asking questions, it's not gonna like come out very intelligent now.
No,
after
of course.
More than 75 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So take it with a pinch of salt. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But still, there are a lot of interesting material in it.
I agree.
So
I'm assuming Sadler became a part of this group of intelligent beings to asking intelligent humans asking questions.
Yeah, he supposedly was
the main
running
one.
the
exactly
running the questioning department.
Yeah. I think it's quite interesting that the group of celestial beings started the ball rolling, really. It seems like they're saying, okay, we've got something we want to convey to humans, but let's get a dialogue going. I think that was pretty smart of them. I don't think I've heard of anything coming through a medium in that way. I think that's interesting to start with.
Yeah.
That approach. I would like to make a comment about the brother-in-law here too. The fact that he seems to be in a trance state and has no agenda with this situation actually makes him presumably quite a clear channel. Because when you're in full trance, you don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I've experienced that. And it's like you're in a dream. You know your body's talking, but you don't know what's coming out of your mouth.
All right. The forum, a group of about 30 to 40 people who were asking questions, guided by Dr. Sandler. And over a decades, between 1924 to 1955, they were keep asking questions and writing down the answers. So like this happened over more than 20 years.
Yeah.
30 years, actually. 29 years.
Yes.
Yeah. The name of the sleeping source, brother-in-law, is remain anonymous. So he remained anonymous throughout the whole thing.
Which I think is a good sign too. It's not ego tripping.
Well, if you want to put it that way, Dr. Sandler is ego tripping, but
yeah.
the poor guy is not.
Yeah.
So the book is 2,097 pages, like a dense book.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And if you want to like listen to the audio of the book, audiobook, but it's on YouTube. It has 13 videos on it. I'm going to leave the link in the description. You can just listen to the book itself, board by board. But I think that takes like a 13, 14 days for you to go through it. So, yeah, but you can have access to it if you want to. But we're going to just summarize sections of it. All right, the core mystery of it. The book appeared fully formed with an internal consistency. Its defenders say a single human or even a group in the 1930s to 1950s could not have produced. So the book appeared fully formed, and it's like they swear like, no one can write this book, even like 30, 40 intelligent, educated people, which that's debatable, but yeah. So it is what it is. So the forum between 1924 to 1955, the presence and later a collective of such beings calling themselves the Revelators. What does it mean, the Revelators? The one that started revelation?
It's a strange word, but those that reveal.
Cool. Proposes an experiment. They request a group of intelligent, sincere humans, a forum, about 30 to 40 men and women, professionals, being assembled, and they are instructed to ask questions about any questions about God, the cosmos, history, destiny, and the answers would come through the same sleeping subject, which identity is anonymous.
The anonymous brother-in-law. Yes.
In a deep unconscious trance and be transcribed. The 30 years transmission, this process happened over 30 years. For 3 decades, this process continues. Questions are submitted, answers are received, read to the forum, debated, and sometimes re-asked for clarification. So that's an interesting process. So they were asking questions, receiving answers, but then they're debating the answers and asking questions again.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's still, they were all, even if they were up to date by then, it's a lot. We would have asked those questions a lot differently.
Of course.
Yeah, with the knowledge that we have.
Yes.
So it's limited to the knowledge at that time in terms of scientific knowledge, whatever, because we evolve.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I hope so.
Well, it's about 70 years ago that they finished. So things have moved on since then.
Almost 100 years ago since they started.
Since they started, yeah exactly.
So, yeah. Should have that in mind.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it.
Not almost, more than actually 100 years.
It's true. But between 1955 and 2026, where we are now, it's been an exponential growth in understanding on all fronts.
Yeah, true.
So no way we would ask the same questions.
Definitely.
So I think it's understandable that it seemed a little bit quaint.
Yes. All right. The only thing that can point out to the identity of the sleeping subject is Wilfred Kellogg, his brother-in-law, Sadler's wife's brother, Dr. Lena Sandler. So that might be the, but that's weird. Like how hard can it be to figure out who the brother-in-law is?
Yes. But I would just like to thank him for doing a good job and remaining half anonymous, because who it was doesn't really matter. He did a good job, obviously, of transmitting messages for 30 years.
True. Okay, the publication. In 1955, after all transmissions ceased, the Urantia book was published by the Urantia Foundation. So they built a foundation to Urantia Foundation. It's 2,097 pages of dense, single-space text divided into 196 papers. It bears no human author. The copyright is held by Urantia Foundation, with the stated hope that its teaching would eventually become public domain for all humanity, which unfortunately got buried.
It did? Oh.
Not really. Like,
I mean, it's still...
you have to know about it to search for it or read it. Like, but I haven't heard it until like a week ago.
No, same. I heard about it through you. Yeah, so you're right. It hasn't had any obvious impact on society that we know of.
Okay, the core mysteries of what we can grapple in with it today is that the human questions. Could a group of well-read Chicagoans in the 1930s to 1950s have synthesized this from their own knowledge and a spiritual longing?
I doubt it. I don't think not even a group.
Yeah, okay, we're going to get to it. The divine question, is this a legitimate, unprecedented example of prolonged collaborative contact with the non-human intelligence? And the middle path, could it be both a profound psychological and a spiritual event where a group's collective higher consciousness became the channel?
You want me to answer that?
No, but these are the angles we're going to look at it. Okay, what we're going to do in this episode, we're not here to convert or condemn any of it. We're here to dissect the mystery, like try to figure it out, try to just explain it and see what makes sense. And at worst, you can dismiss it, and at best, you can just gain some perspective. So,
well said.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the book. The book is in 4 parts. The central and super universes is the first part. The local universe is the second part. The history of Urantia is the third part. And the life and teaching of Jesus is the last part.
So we start with papers 1 to 31. The central and super universes. The architecture of infinity. Imagine a cosmic bullseye. At the center, eternal, unmoving, incomprehensible. The Isle of Paradise. The literal geographic center of all creation. The dwelling place of the universal Father. Surrounding paradise, Havona, the central universe of perfection, with its billion perfect worlds. Encircling that, the 7 super universes, massive, evolving constellations of time and space. We live in the 7th super universe, Orvanton.
What a name.
Yeah. Quite nice, really. Within each super universe are 100,000 local universes. Ours is called Nebadon.
Nebadon.
So, the next step is the hierarchy of beings, a vast bureaucracy of divinity.
Can you explain what it means, a vast bureaucracy of divinity?
Yeah. I think a government's bad enough. I think you've got the same thing for the whole darn cosmos. That's what it's talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's fascinating.
This is the structure of power in the universe.
Yeah.
Kind of, you can say. Yeah.
The universal Father, God, the eternal Son, and the infinite Spirit, the Trinity. Creator sons like Jesus, aka Michael of Nebadon, the local universe builders and fathers. They enact bestowal missions, incarnating as creatures like Jesus on earth to understand their creation. Life carriers who design and plant biological life on worlds. Thought adjusters, fragments of God implanted in human minds, our indwelling divine spark, the source of conscious and potential eternal life.
thought adjusters. That's a very interesting
Yeah.
term.
I would guess in other terms that's guided teachers or spiritual guides, who give us ideas, and I don't know. I guess might be in the whole system of things. Okay, quote: "The universe of universes is not an accident. It is a vast and integrated laboratory of the infinite for the production of ascended personalities, the progressive citizens of the eternal realm."
Yeah. Okay, this was like the summary of paper 1 to 31. 1 to 31, yeah.
That's a vast amount of information.
Yeah, we can discuss each point of it.
Yeah.
For like a couple of pages, which they did. And it's very Christian in terms of like it has a Trinity on top. And maybe that's the interpretation.
I feel it's something you were talking about before we started, Mani, that each time has its comprehension of life or whatever its subject may be. And I'm guessing at this point, starting in 1911, whenever it was, that Christianity in the Western world was the major understanding of life and creation. But as we'll probably get to see when we're reading on, I'm wondering if these group of beings, the Revelators, used Christianity because it's something humanity recognized.
It would resonate with people.
Yes. But then they're kind of expanding it out into a more cosmic field, if you like, cosmic understanding. And if I'm right, I think they're very smart.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very smart approach.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, as we've said before too, no doubt, if this was happening in this modern day, we would have certainly different reference points.
Yeah, it's good to have in mind like all the mediums, famous ones, both religious and non-religious, from Muhammad, before that Jesus or Moses, they were all channeling.
Yes.
An entity. But they were given information for the time and era that they were in.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's comprehensible.
Yes.
It's not like something like, oh yeah, it's just like there is an AI in the future. It's like, what?
What's intelligence? What's artificial?
We don't even ride on the rock yet.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So that's what I mean. Like you shouldn't dismiss it because with the information that we have now, some of this stuff doesn't make sense or we know it's wrong.
Exactly.
There's still some points that are matching the description and reality that we are understanding now. It might change in the future, but as it is right now.
Well, we can pretty well guarantee it will change. If we progress at the rate we're progressing now. So, yeah, but I think that was a really astute observation of you earlier, Mani, that it's easy to trash this stuff a bit, but actually for its time, I think it's pretty amazing.
It's little like, chatbots or ChatGPT. Like the way you, like if you have access to it, it feels like what was it? The Revelators.
Yes.
Were like ChatGPT and they're like, okay, ask questions.
Yeah.
And whatever you feed the system, feed their algorithm, the chatbot, they were answer based on that.
Yes.
And even though they were trying to change the direction of the questions or the answers to be a little more like talk about different subject, but they couldn't fully. They couldn't say like, no, there is no God.
Yes.
There is no Trinity or Jesus. It's like they were fucking, panic and like, oh, this is satanic. This is demonic. Let's stop it. Let's stop the whole thing. Set everything on fire. Because, those were the vibes back then. And so it's just like compared to like your ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Based on the data that you have, history that you have in your chat, it will answer. And sometimes it gets things wrong even because you feed it those information. You taught your ChatGPT to be biased. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
And like to give you like the answer that you like.
Yeah.
That's why you cannot just like 100% trust ChatGPT's answers on stuff. Because there are like in debates, people use ChatGPT and like both parts get the answers that they want. And it's like
yes,
contradicting the other.
Yeah.
So just have in mind.
But just another little spanner in the works here in a good way. I just want to point out that in actual fact, we all individually have our own team of revelators, should we choose to contact them. And we always have had. It's just really since the 70s that it's become more not only accepted but common knowledge, and a lot of people have started working with their own guided teachers.
Yeah.
It's always been there, but I think that churches and religions have suppressed that fact.
Yeah, they had the monopoly on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a sidetrack. Let's carry on with this.
All right. This is paper 32 to 134. The local universe, our neighborhood, Nebadon, which is a cool name, Nebadon.
I think so.
Where are you from? Nebadon.
Nebadon.
Yeah. This is our universe. Local universe government focuses on the administrations of our sector of space by Michael, aka Jesus, and his subordinate rulers. The mortal ascent plan. This is the core of human destiny. There is not an end, but a promotion. Which most of religious texts says that,
Yeah.
It's not an end.
Well, it's to me, I liken death as to changing classes,
A promotion.
Well, yeah.
Not necessarily.
Well, it depends how you
go
do.
now.
Yeah.
You can go down.
You screw up.
You can go any direction.
Yeah. But, you get through grade 1, then you go on to grade 2. But if you mess up, well, you might do grade 1 again. Yeah.
All right. This is how they describe dying. You die, your personality, if he has chosen to follow the adjuster, is repersonalized on the mentioned worlds, the first of countless Urantia spirit matter training spheres.
Can relate to that too.
What is Urantia?
I've forgotten. It's one of the words in the. Maybe it was the next step up from the Nebulia, whatever we But my knowledge of reincarnation, I can agree with that too. When we leave this planet, we don't necessarily reincarnate in this place. We're endless places too.
That's up for debate. Because some believe like this. Yeah. We don't leave this planet easily.
Well, I know I do. I don't know about others.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
I've been to all sorts of other schools.
Before this or after Earth?
During too. So
you think you have been reincarnated on planet Earth and then went another sphere?
Yes. Being here, off somewhere else, back here.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I believe you. Yes.
Good. Thank you. I wasn't the only one. There were other people there too.
Yeah, cool. You begin an unimaginably long educational journey, advancing through different worlds and universes, serving, learning, and growing towards God. Eventually reaching paradise after perhaps billions of years. Oh, that's encouraging. It just takes billions of years.
But
just some billions, okay?
I will put you out of your misery, Marnie. Just to remember that time is relative to this dimension. and not necessarily any others.
Well, based on what they say, time and space exists in these spheres.
Yes.
Maybe in a different way.
Yes,
but
in a different way.
Not exactly the same way,
No,
but
not
still
like
exists.
It's not linear.
I hate time and space, man.
If you want to fuse out your brain, just stay there for a while.
Yeah.
Me too.
So this is what happens in terms of dying.
Mm.
The problem of evil and rebellion. The book explains imperfection via a grand cosmic rebellion. Lucifer, a system sovereign, led a rebellion in Nebadon about 200,000 years ago, advocating for liberty without law, which is anarchy.
Anarchy, yeah. Exactly, yeah.
It's fun because I'm so hopeless on politics and politicians. I'm like, we need anarchy.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone had to come up with it.
We need to take down these fucking billionaires. Like,
Yes.
No, don't take my words for it. All right. This Lucifer rebellion tainted our planet, explaining our planet's spiritual isolation and confusion. So it's Lucifer's fault? Okay.
Yeah.
The book states Earth is a decimal planet, experimental, one of only 10 in our system. In our system, but means in our universe?
I think in Nebadon.
Nebadon.
Yeah.
Which is why our spiritual progress has been so chaotic. Decimal planet. Do you have any comment on that?
1 of 10. Well, my knowledge of Earth as a school is quite a scarce place, the way it's set up. So there's possibly some truth in that. And maybe there's 10 in this nearby system, but I think you'll find that if you widen the picture out a bit, that there are endless similar.
Yeah, that's one
places.
of the points that you can dismiss now with our knowledge of cosmos. That there are
exactly. Yeah,
a large number of Earth-like planets out there.
Yeah, but they have defined Nebadon as like the local neighborhood, as it were, universally. So that maybe. Where I'm a little bit suspicious with this Lucifer thing, to me, Christianity has this marketing tool, which is the same thing as Trump uses. You've got the bad guy, you've got the savior, and you're the victim in the middle. And the savior's going to come and save you for a fee, of course, but there you go. So put on Lucifer, it's made to the bad guy. I mean, he might have really done this stuff, but I don't know if he's necessarily did something bad. He just did something different.
In my experience, it cannot be clear-cutted like that.
Yeah.
Not good, bad, middle.
No. Yeah.
Mix.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But it's that old marketing tool of divide and conquer. It's which I think most religions use, and a lot of our leaders too, as we well know.
True. All right, you want to go ahead and give us the history of Urantia?
I shall do that. Yeah. Okay, this is for papers 57 to 119. The history of Urantia, Earth.